Welcome back to another video, guys. Well, it's been a while since we've really had issues with anything, so we hadn't done many repair videos, but it's fixing to change today. So the 2004 Duramax, the wheel hubs, I think they're starting to go out a little bit. A while back I did a video showing how to clean those the ABS sensors and just try to make them work again. That worked for a while and it worked really good, but now I'm starting to have the issue again where basically sometimes I'll get some feedback from the ABS, even whenever it's dry or whatnot, pulling from one side to another whenever I hit the brakes, and ABS light coming on and off. If you go over 40 miles an hour, it goes off. Under and you hit a bump, it turns back on. So we're going to replace the wheel hubs on the Duramax today. And I've been walking over there, but let's show you guys the wheel hubs I got in case you got any questions about them. I did go ahead and order a set. You don't have to replace them as a set. It's just that I'm not 100% sure which one I need to replace. And I'm guessing that both of them are original to the truck. So with 200,000 miles on them, heck, let's do them both. I picked these guys up for less than 200 bucks. And I'll tell you too, I am usually a big advocate of OEM parts. So typically I would have got an AC Delco hub. However, the price difference between these, I got this pair for about 150 bucks. So that's 75 a piece. An AC Delco was 226 on Rock Auto. So this, in my opinion, is just as good, if not better than an AC Delco. This right here is a Moog, which I don't know if you guys have ever, you can see right there, it's a Moog, and I will leave a link down below, both to Rock Auto and Amazon. The Amazon link is going to be an affiliate link, so if the video does help you and you purchase from that link, it does help out the channel some monetarily, so definitely appreciate that, guys. But you can see, got one here, looks brand new. And the nice thing too is I thought about replacing the speed sensor, but to get an AC Delco speed sensor, once again, a set was 40 bucks. 150 bucks, I mean an extra 110 bucks. Let's just go ahead and do the whole wheel hub. So I don't know how big of a pain this is going to be, but I'm going to document the process, just walking through it, swapping at least one side so you guys can see how to swap a wheel hub. Now, this is going to work pretty much for any Silverado. It doesn't have to be exclusively the HDs. Torque specs are going to be a little bit different, but process is going to be similar for just about anything you work on. So let's pull the Duramax into the shop and get started. So you can see here, we're almost at a 220K, the ABS light's on. So let's get this whole project started here. All right, so I've went through a trial run on the driver's side, so I know exactly how to do this and can give you guys all my points and tips on doing this. Driver's side's done. You can see there's the old one. So let's do the passenger side. First things first, let's break the lugs loose. Now you can see mine's got a cover, so I've got to take this cover off real quick. And all I need to do that is just a little Allen wrench. And there's only two real ones. So I'm gonna pop this one and the other one's on the other side. That'll reveal our lugs. Now that we can see all 8 lugs, I'm just gonna start busting them loose with my impact here. Now, I'm gonna say I'm busting them loose. I'm not actually taking them off, because if you take them all off before the vehicle's supported by jack stands in the air, it could fall off. So you definitely don't want that. You may get hurt. So just bust them loose, but don't take them all the way off. They still need to be on the threads. Then once you've got all the lugs loose, all we're going to do is we're going to take our jack and we're going to jack the vehicle up. And of course, put your jack stands under there. Do it right. Play it safe. You don't want your jack failing and one of these big heavy trucks falling on you. Now, with the wheel up in the air, we've got it supported by jack stands on each side here, and you can see we got the jack. Oh, and don't mind this drip over here. That's just condensation from the air conditioner. This air conditioner works great on this truck. But we'll go ahead and pop the rest of these lugs off, take the wheel off. Oh yeah, before we do take the wheel off, one thing you can do, now obviously the lugs are loose on this, so you're gonna see some play anyway, but you can grab the top of the tire, wiggle it from the 12 to 6 position. If you got play there, you know your wheel bearing's bad. Also listen to this. If I spin the wheel, hear that grittiness in there? That means this guy's probably on its way out, if I was guessing. So we'll go ahead and pop the wheel off. With the wheel off, the next thing we want to do is loosen. All right, once we've got the wheel up in the air here and with the wheel and tire off, we're going to remove the whole brake caliper and assembly here. So you've got a bolt right here, 21 millimeter. You've also got one on the bottom right here. It's that big boy, not the smaller one that actually holds the caliper on, but the whole assembly. You can see mine's pretty dirty, so I would recommend, if you can, try to wash it off before you bring it in here. I live on a dirt road, just the nature of it. I'm not too worried about it. I can get this done. But it's 21 millimeter. And another little tip for you, besides washing it, as you can see, my breaker bar is not very long, and it's hard to get much leverage in here if you're not doing this with impact tools. So one thing you can do, use to your advantage, is rubber mallet. I'm not a very big guy, so I need all the tools that I can get to help me with these jobs. So what you can do is you can set this on there, get it going, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, and then just give it a few whacks with your mallet and try to break it loose. If it won't come loose for you, what you can do is you can hit those bolts with a little bit of PB Blaster, specifically just those bolts. Don't get it down in here, because if you get that oil down in here on your rotors, on your brake pads, your brakes aren't going to work, and that's a safety issue. So be mindful where you're spraying that blaster if you decide to use some. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to break that top one loose, bottom one loose, again, 21 millimeter. We're going to support this whole caliper and a brake assembly up here with a bungee cord, because we don't want that falling and breaking our brake lines here. You can see those are rather delicate. We don't want to kink them. We don't want to break them, because this whole assembly here is very heavy on these 2500 HDs. And, you know, even those half tons, they're pretty heavy. You don't want it sagging and putting weight on those brake lines. So you can see I've got both of those bolts out. They're laying right there. We've got this secured up here. That way if it falls, it's not going anywhere. So now what I'm going to do is we'll take the rotor off. And this is another area that may be tricky for you. You may have to beat and bang on it with a mallet a little bit on the backside, trying not to mar it or anything. Luckily mine are pretty loose, but that can be a project in and of itself if it's very rusty. Sometimes they have these little screws in them, bolts that you have to take out or push a little further in to try to push it away from it. So the goal is to get the rotor off. Like I said, that may be a bit of a process for you. You may have to work on that some, but if you beat and bang on it long enough, it will come off for you. And then once it's off, it's loose, as you can see mine is, you just pull it off and towards you. And I'm going to use both hands to do that. At least I think. Now I can do it one-handed. I'll smash my fingers there. And then just set it off to the side. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this little cap here. And all you need for that is a flathead screwdriver. And you just take it and you put it in right in areas like this and pry away. Another thing you can do is you can use your rubber mallet to beat it and then just kind of work your way around it and beat this thing until it falls off. Just like that. So the next thing we're going to do is, before we get too wild with this, right up here, this is your ABS sensor. Lucky for you, all we got to do is trace it out and unplug it and all its clips along the way. Begin one right here, one that sits under it. You can see I've got it pinched with the rotor here. Or sorry, I've got it pinched with the brake pad here. And what it does is it runs all the way up here to a clip right back here. And all you do is you push that clip up and you pull back on one side or another. And you can see it clips that ABS line. Then you just pull this clip up and out, route it through. You can see there's another one right there. I got to take that off. And we're just going to make sure this is hanging low down here. Then we're going to move on to the fun part, this axle nut. Boy, now that I'm in here, I've got that wire loose, like I was saying. This is the ABS sensor right here, guys. Now that I've got this loose, look how rusty this is. This is probably original to the truck, so it's a good thing we're replacing it. So this axle nut here, guys, if you got four-wheel drive, you're in luck. Because what you're going to notice is, see how this thing spins? Ooh, listen to that noise too. It sounds awful. Okay, so I'm done playing with that. So this thing, notice how it spins. Well, whenever you try to take that axle nut off, if you don't do it with an impact, what you're going to run into is this thing's going to try to spin on you. Well, check this out. If you got four-wheel drive, put your key in. If I can climb up in this thing sitting high, kicker and four-wheel. Make sure to turn your key off. Throw it up on the dash. Jump back out. Watch this. Now that your front end's engaged, look at that. You're locked up now. Now, if you don't have four-wheel drive, what you can do, I would only do this if you're not going to reuse it. If you can get you a bar or something long enough that's going to hit the ground, you can put it in between the studs there, the wheel studs. Because if that thing is going to hit the ground will give you a point of stopping where you won't have to worry about that locking up on you. But just some ideas for you. Now, this is a big old nut here, guys. On these 3/4 tons, this is a 35 millimeter. That's a big socket. I don't have anything that big. Lucky for me, my dad, oh, where is it? It's down there somewhere, but he loaned me a set because he did wheel hubs on his truck, and he actually bought a set, and it has a 36. I'd rather read a few guys online if they had a 12-point socket on them. They managed to get by with a 36. So, guys, give my dad a thumbs up for loaning us the tools to make this job happen here. Save us 10, 20 bucks from going to buy a socket. As you can see, this is it right here. That's a big boy right there. But all you're going to do is you're going to put it on there. And like I say, preferably a 35 if you can, but the 36 is going to work for us. Then you just twist this thing off. And man, if you don't have an impact, it is a job, I will tell you. If you're a very big boy, it won't be too bad for you. But these are torqued down to 170 some odd foot-pound. And I'll leave the torque specs for everything down in the comments for you guys. But this is going to be a bear to get off, I'll tell you. But you just take it off like you would any other nut. And once we get that off, we'll move on to the next one. And I'll tell you guys, I did cheat a little bit. I've been nothing but impressed with this little Milwaukee fuel. Look at this. This is just one of those little 1/4-inch drives. This is meant for like building decks and whatnot. But I have in here a little Hercules adapter that goes from I think it's 1/4-inch to a 1/2 inch for the socket. It's a Hercules from Harbor Freight. It busted that thing off no problem on the high speed there, the 3 setting. So if you don't have an impact, but you got one of those, it does the job. This thing has got it done everything I want it to do without having to have one of those real big boys. But now that we've got that broke loose, we've got 4 more bolts, and they're on the back side that hold this hub on. 1, 2, get zoomed out there. 1, 2, then on the other side of behind this brake dust shield, I believe is what that is. 3, and at the bottom, 4. Yeah, you can see it hiding back there. So we're going to break all 4 of those loose. I believe they're a 15 millimeter. And be ready, guys, because that dust shield and everything's going to come off whenever you break that 4th one loose. Also, pay special attention to your dust shield. Notice how it curves in and then up. I've seen guys put this on backwards. And if you put it on backwards, guess what? You got to take everything off and put it back together again. So pay attention to the routing of this. See how this runs up behind there like that? Run it up behind there. Just pay attention to what you're doing. Take pictures if you need to. And make sure that whenever you're taking this off, you know how things came off, or reference this video. Oh, and if I didn't say, those nuts back there, 15 millimeter. Check out the difference in these. Look at the old one there. You can tell that's got to be original to the truck. Look at this nice new one here. So we're at the halfway point, guys. Now all we got to do is get everything pieced back together up here. It's looking a little bare, ain't it? So all we got to do, really, is we need to make sure to get, whenever you're getting this one on here, A, dust shield, remember which way it goes. And B, another mistake I made on the other side, make sure whenever you're mounting this, the top 2 bolts also contain the sensor, because what's going to happen if you mount this upside down, you're going to run out of wire length and you're not going to be able to route it up to your ABS point. So make sure that the ABS sensor is on top. So now I'm just going to take this assembly and that dust shield, and I'm going to put everything back up there, and we'll start replacing bolts. Okay, new hub is on. We got the axle nut. We got all the nuts back there. So next thing we're going to do is this whole brake assembly. Little trick here. What you're going to run into, oh yeah, of course, well, we got to put the cap on first. And we also have to put the rotor on right there. We got to put that on before we put this on. But little trick for you guys. What you're going to run into is that sometimes these brake pads in there can be really tight. And it can be tough to try to get those on. What you can do is take you a C-clamp and unspin it. What you can do with your C-clamp is you can put it on the side with the caliper, the pistons, put it on the inside of the brake pad there, then just tighten it down. What's going to happen is it's going to squeeze those 2 calipers back in there, allowing you for clearance over the rotor for an easy put back together. And with the wheel back on, the jacks and jack stand out of the way, it's time for a drive. Let's see how she does. Well, about a week later and 50 or so miles more, that fixed the problem. Check this out. We hop in here. Ugh. Turn the key over. Watch. Lights out. It's gone. Obviously, the rest of the lights would go out if we'd actually crank it over, but ABS light's gone. That's what we were concerned about. On top of that, I do have to say that it seems like it steers a little bit straighter. There's less play in the steering wheel, obviously, since that hub was going bad. And maybe just a little bit less noise, because there's obviously no whirring from that. So for 150 bucks replacing both of those, it was a pretty easy time. I mean, you're looking at a couple hours, maybe a few frustrations, but something you could totally do yourself and save a lot of money over having to go to a shop. And the happiest part of all, I don't have that ABS light on anymore. I was getting tired of that thing. Got my partner in crime in here with me now. He likes to go for rides too. Well, guys, that's it for this video. Definitely stay tuned. We got a lot of content coming up with this old LB7 Duramax. There's a lot of maintenance items I need to hit. Also, we need to do an interior LED upgrade. We got some of it done, but need to finish the rest. I want to do a video on that. Oh, and recover this headliner. I've been meaning to do that forever. So we got lots of stuff still coming up. So if this is the sort of stuff you like, stay tuned. We got more coming. All right, guys, until the next video, take care.